Nissan has just revealed its latest top-of-the-range edition of its dual-cab ute, now called the Navara Pro-4x Warrior. It clearly has a macho image and name, but is it just a show pony or a credible off-roader? The powertrain is the same, but the suspension and design have had some work. At the launch, we talked to Nissan and their contracted engineering company, PremCar, on how they identified customer needs and go about developing the extra bits that turn the Navara into a warrior. The Pro-4x Warrior's macho name is consistent with the market that other manufacturers are targeting, as we've seen in the Toyota Hilux Rogue and Rugged X, and the Ford Ranger with its Wild Track and Raptor X. Apparently X marks the spot. This is the brochure that Nissan put out about the Warrior, not dissimilar to its competitors, because while they may have some rather crass, almost redneck names to their vehicles, none of the advertising material is going to have a battered, dirty vehicle on the way back from a pig shoot. Rather, you will be able to travel out into the great sandy regions, get your tyres a little dirty, but you can then get out of the car, consider the meaning of life, but still maintain your urban chic. So far in 2021, utes accounted for 21% of all sales in the Australian market, becoming the biggest segment, which in Australia the categories are based on size and style of vehicles. 86% of the utes are four-wheel drive. Nissan may sell the majority of its utilities to tradies and or families, but it must also convert the basic cars to hero vehicles that are suited to Australia's great outdoors. And this is a growing market. In Nissan's case, while their overall sales have grown by 10%, the top specification models, those above $60,000, have grown 30%. Nissan says that of the top-end utes, about 80% are used at times in off-road situations, way above typical SUV experiences. The latest Warrior still comes with a 2.3-litre four-cylinder twin-turbocharged diesel engine. Its 140 kilowatts and 450 newton metres of torque are not class-leading, but certainly not inadequate. Its combined fuel consumption is rated at 8.1 litres per 100 kilometres, but that comes from better highway results. Its urban figure is not class-leading. Now, if you add features like a large roll bar and a bull bar, you add weight. Nissan has increased the gross vehicle mass in order to keep the payload capacity high at 952 kilograms, which is well above some of its main competitors. So how does Nissan determine what the adventure market really wants?
My name is Matthew Bailey. I'm the Conversions and Local Product Development Manager for Nissan.
Conversions, that sounds evangelical.
Well, I'm pretty lucky to have such a job. Basically, what it means is we take a standard product and then we look at adding modifications to meet the needs of the customer locally with a local converter.
How do you find what the customers are thinking? What sort of formal research or informal research, or both?
Yeah, a range, to be honest. So obviously we get access to a lot of market research. We can track buyer behaviour through sales, data, things of that nature. So a lot of existing research, but also talking to the dealer network. In Nissan we call it going to the Gemba, getting to the dealership floor, talking to the sales managers, the salespeople. That's really important to kind of get the voice of the customer. Plus social media, owners groups, forums, social media forums, bespoke research, a whole raft. Something in the car industry we're never short of is information and data.
Yeah, but got to be good to listen to it, haven't you? You've got to interpret it.
Got to interpret it. Yeah. So sometimes you can get too much information, and what you have to do is distill that down, often I'll look at things from 2 or 3 different perspectives to really hone in on the root cause issue to identify the opportunity for the conversion. We also had dealers doing conversions as well, and we could see an opportunity to develop a converted vehicle with the most popular modifications that would meet those needs, but would be supplied through Nissan dealerships, would be warranted with a 5-year warranty. And I think for us the most important thing is, a customer sometimes will do this piece by piece, adding bits together. With the conversion that we're doing, it's actually designed as a complete package, engineered as a complete package, tested as a complete package, and that's what we've been experiencing yesterday is that product.
Adding things on can have unintended consequences, so Nissan outsourced some engineering developments.
Yeah, I'm Bernie Quinn. I'm the Engineering Director of PremCar.
Okay, and
I'm Tom Mbezi and I'm the Head of Programs at PremCar.
Bernie, you were saying that you make modifications, and we've heard from Matt and that how important that is for stability and consistency. And what sort of things are we talking about, and how important is it that they interact well?
Yeah. So I use the word harmony to describe what we do. We do it in a harmonious, integrated package. And Matt might have already told you this, but the modifications that we put on the Navara to make it into a Warrior are typical of what customers used to spend in the aftermarket. So, Australian consumers want a vehicle that is developed to their own tastes. They're not happy with just taking a generic model that's the same as you'd buy in Thailand, Japan, US, UK, Europe, whatever. They want their own Navara. And so typically, the customers would buy a Navara, a Hilux or a Ranger, and they'd go to the aftermarket and spend maybe $10,000 or $15,000 on aftermarket components. We looked at what they were spending money on, and it was bull bars, lift kits, wheels and tyres, underbody protection. So we developed those parts and applied them to Navara to turn it into a Warrior. But importantly, they were developed as a cohesive, harmonious, integrated package. Because, quite frankly, the customer could go and spend that money in the aftermarket and to get the same thing, a lift kit, wheels and tyres, flares, a bull bar. Not only might it not be legal, it's probably not going to be warranted by the manufacturer anymore, and it's not going to probably work in an integrated, harmonious way. And what I mean by that, I'm rambling a bit, sorry, but what I mean by that is you can put a wheel and tyre on the car and go and drive it down the road, and it's probably going to annoy the hell out of you if it hasn't been developed properly, because it's going to make noise and might not grip properly in the wet. So we do all of those things so that the wheel and tyre works with the suspension, works with the cabin, so that it's a nice experience for the driver.
Integrated and harmonious could be PR wankery.
Yeah. Not from me.
Sorry to choose a technical term. Yeah, that has a real point. The clearance of the tyres and the movement of the suspension. It's not just a case of bolting something on, it's knowing what it'll do.
Exactly. And really, first thing is we've got to make it legal. So we have to go and do all the Australian design rule testing to make sure that the car passes all of those tests again. And we have to go and make sure it still works well with all the safety systems, autonomous emergency braking and, ABS, traction control, all of those things have to be revalidated again. So, there's a lot in it.
Tell me about PremCar. What's its history?
So our history is the company was founded in 1996, so we've been around for a long time. At that time, the company was called Tickford Vehicle Engineering. It was a UK-based organisation, came to Australia really to facilitate the delivery of niche vehicles for Ford in Australia. So, Tom and I and all the engineers at PremCar really grew up doing performance versions of Fords, LPG conversions for Ford, sunroof installation for Ford, all those niche variants. In 2002, it changed names to ProDrive, Automotive Technology, because ProDrive in the UK, Subaru World Rally Team, very famous company in the UK, bought Tickford in the UK. So our name changed to ProDrive Automotive Technology Australia, and at that time we set up a joint venture with Ford, which was Ford Performance Vehicles. So again, we cut our teeth on doing, V8 Falcons, supercharged Falcons, XR6 turbo Falcons for all of those years. Of course, the company changed dramatically when Ford stopped manufacturing in Australia. And at that time, ProDrive offered the business up for management buyout, and myself and my colleague Jim Jovanovski, we bought the company out at that time. So that's 2012.
The utility in that has been through a number of phases.
Yeah.
It was the workhorse. It was then, perhaps with Falcons and Commodores, a two-door sports car.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yep.
I remember trying to take a ute to pick something up. I had to drive up a curb and gutter. I had to get out and put a bit of timber there. You wouldn't have to do that with a Pro 4X.
No.
It was just a standard curb and gutter. Yet maybe it had some, that utility then had a bit of testosterone, more image than that. But we've evolved, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, I think that the Australian customer wants a vehicle that can actually do everything and anything. They want to be able to take it away on the weekend camping, go on the sort of tracks that we drove on yesterday, and make that a seamless experience, have the family in the truck while they do it and the camping gear in the back.
Well, the Leaf, they're now developing one that has a bit more off-road capability in order, if they're out at an emergency site, as a portable battery, you may well find a carryover from one experience to the other.
Exactly, yeah.
And that kind of speaks to what we do, is not just changing the focus of a vehicle, but actually evolving and broadening the capability of a vehicle. And not just being a city car, but broadening it so it can do anything.
The debate with electric vehicles, again, has tended to be all or nothing, fundamentalism, really. And it's very easy to have a scenario that suggests to stop something happening.
I drive an electric vehicle as my day-to-day car.
Oh, okay.
But I also have 650 horsepower V8 Falcon, and I've also got a dual cab pickup. I'm lucky enough to have all three, to be honest. But my passion doesn't only belong in one category. It's open to everything, and I think that Australians are like that generally.
Matt's title is called Conversion something.
Yeah, the longest title in history. Yeah.
I thought that sounded evangelical, and now you're talking ecumenical. You cover all religions,
exactly.
As it were.
Yeah, I have to go to 7 different churches every week. It takes a lot of my time.
and worship at the fuel, at the service station of.
That's good.
Yeah, well, but it's important then for people to see that it's not one-dimensional. That it's actually engineering solving problems.
100%. Yep.
An electric vehicle isn't an interminable barrier.
No.
It's an opportunity.
100%. Yeah, perfectly put.
It's an evolution. It's an evolution of what the vehicle is.
Yeah. Well, electric utes, a lot of tradies are longing for them.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be a significant area of growth over the next decade, and I think that we're really well placed to be involved in that, to be honest.
This video has been about the build-up to the launch of the Navara Pro-4x Warrior. We have recently driven it in some wonderful Australian conditions, but Nissan has asked us not to comment just yet about the driving experience. We can comment soon, and we will do a video on our perceptions on how it goes in the bush, on the highway, and all roads in between.